I wasn't supposed to be on that road. My flight had been canceled due to unexpected crew availability, and the next one wasn't until morning. The train station looked like a refugee camp from a zombie apocalypse. Bodies draped over benches, glowing phones, restless kids. Every rental car desk had a line like Disneyland, and I was just about to give up when a lady from behind the counter looked at me and said, "If you can drive stick, I've got one left." It was an old navy blue sedan that smelled like pine-scented regret and spilled coffee. But it had 4 wheels, a mostly full tank, and I needed to get to my brother's wedding, 6 hours north, or suffer the wrath of a mom who still believed in family above all. I printed out a route just in case my phone died. Spoiler, it did, 2 hours in. Around the 3rd hour of driving, I hit a stretch of road so empty it felt like I had fallen out of time. The sun had started its lazy descent, casting gold across endless pine trees and 2-lane blacktop. I'd gone at least 30 minutes without seeing another car. And that's when I saw him. A lone figure on the shoulder, thumb out, cardboard sign in hand. Faded backpack at his feet. As I got closer, I could make out the words on the sign, scrawled in thick black marker. "Just trying to get home." He looked young, late 20s maybe. His hoodie was zipped to the neck, sleeves too long. His jeans were dirty but intact. He didn't have that twitchy, desperate vibe some hitchhikers give off. He just looked tired, like someone who'd had too many doors shut in his face. So, despite every true crime podcast I'd ever heard, I pulled over. He approached the car slowly, like he expected me to change my mind. "Where you headed?" I asked through the passenger window. "North," he said, voice soft, careful. "Anywhere past Everett would help." I nodded. "I'm passing through Everett. Got a seat if you want it." He blinked, like that answer hadn't occurred to him. Then nodded. "Thanks, seriously. I've been out here a while." He tossed his backpack in the back seat and slid in. His name was Mason. Said he'd been in between jobs, trying to reconnect with family upstate. He didn't overshare, which I appreciated, just enough to let the silence feel comfortable. We talked for a bit. Music tastes, road food, what states have the worst drivers. He had a dry sense of humor, laughed like he didn't do it often. Then he got quiet. After a while, I realized he was asleep, head turned slightly toward the window, fingers twitching like he was dreaming. I pulled into a gas station around 7 p.m., middle of nowhere, the kind of place with humming lights and a clerk who looked like she'd seen too much. I grabbed a coffee and some gum. As I waited to pay, I noticed the little TV on the wall behind the counter. Breaking. Search continues for psychiatric escapee. A mugshot filled the screen. Name, Mason Dillard. Dark hair, thin face, pale skin. The same hoodie. I stared at the screen. The woman behind the counter noticed. Creepy, huh? Poor nurse got her jaw broken. Guy just vanished. They think he's hiding up north. I left the coffee. When I got back to the car, Mason was sitting upright, fiddling with the radio. "You okay?" he asked. I nodded, forced a smile. "Yeah, just tired." He didn't press. As we drove, my mind spun in 100 directions. What were the odds it was a different Mason Dillard? Did I really pick up an escaped psychiatric patient? And what if he wasn't dangerous? I glanced at him. He was watching the trees roll by, quiet, peaceful. Then he spoke. "You ever feel like you were meant to take a different road and somehow miss the turn?" I swallowed. "Sometimes." He nodded slowly. "Me too." It got darker. Trees loomed taller. Headlights carved tunnels in the dusk. We passed a sign, Everett, 12 miles. My heart sped up. Soon, this would be over. Then he said something that chilled me. "You remind me of her, the girl I used to ride with." I didn't ask. I didn't want to know. When we reached the outskirts of Everett, I said, "This is my stop." He didn't argue, just nodded and reached into his coat. My breath caught. But he only pulled out a crumpled $5 bill. "Gas money," he said. "You didn't have to stop. Not many people would have." Then he opened the door, paused, looked at me like he wanted to say something more. Instead, he smiled, tired, grateful, and shut the door. He walked into the night. I sat there for a long time, then drove straight to the nearest police station. The officer at the front desk raised an eyebrow as I explained what happened. He checked their system, made a call, then another. Finally, he turned to me and said, "There's no one by that name in the system. No escape reported from any psychiatric facility this week. You sure about the name?" I was. I even showed him a photo I'd discreetly taken through the side mirror. It was blurry, but it was him. The officer sighed. "Look, lots of people lie when they hitchhike. Maybe he gave a fake name, but there's nothing here." I left feeling wrong. 2 days later, the wedding happened. I smiled through the photos, gave a speech, hugged my brother. But I couldn't stop thinking about Mason. A week after that, I found the $5 bill in my jacket pocket. It was damp, like it had gotten wet and dried again, and it smelled, faintly, of gasoline and lavender. I Googled the name again. This time, something came up, a Reddit post, 5 years old. "Has anyone heard from my brother Mason Dillard? Last seen in Everett. He was struggling with mental health but wouldn't hurt anyone. He loved driving. If you've seen him, please." Attached was the same photo from the gas station TV. Same face, same hoodie. The post had 3 replies, all dead ends. I messaged the user, never got a response. I don't know who I picked up that night. A ghost, a fugitive, or just a man running from a life no one believed in anymore. All I know is this. Sometimes when I drive late at night, I check the rearview mirror a little more than usual. And every now and then, I still hear him humming.